Hi beautiful, and welcome to my channel. My name is Celeste, and today I'm going to be sharing with you how to increase your well-being and actually create a higher body awareness through the practice of charting. I started charting a little over a year ago, and it's really changed my life, and I am seeing now more than ever, because of the turbulent times that we're living in, how charting has become a completely grounding and stabilizing practice. And not only grounding and stabilizing, but it's opened my eyes to how my body is reacting to the circumstances that are happening around the world. And I am seeing this with women all over the world. Women's cycles are being completely thrown out of their natural cycle, and they're being really just pushed around out of their regular alignment because of these turbulent times. And first and foremost, I want to say that this is really normal. It's really natural. This is one of the reasons why I'm such a huge advocate on charting your cycle and not necessarily using a technological app, because technology doesn't take into effect the stressors of not only your daily life, which can be enough to save the day, but it's not even taking into consideration what's happening on a global scale. And if you're on this path of the divine feminine and the ascension and a rose path, or just simply connecting with your womb, you will know right off the bat that what is happening in the world is going to affect your body, because our consciousness is rising, and we are literally one with the environment that we live in and the world that we live in. The collective consciousness is actually becoming a lot stronger, and depending on the different timelines and the different collectives, and I won't get too much into that, but we are becoming a lot more connected to very specific collective groups of consciousness. And so when we do that, we level up our frequency. Hence, our cycles are going to change naturally because they're constantly adjusting. And very specifically, before I go deeper into the topic, I want to mention that even with all of the gateways and all of the cosmic frequencies that are coming in, every single one, it's uplifting our frequency and it's changing the way that our body works. This is what we call DNA activations and all these other things that you'd hear about. It's actually affecting our womb, and I don't think there's enough women talking about this. So many of us are just simply depending on technology to tell us about our womb, and meanwhile we have this beautiful practice of charting that can open up a plethora of just amazing wisdom that is within. So let me stop ranting on about that, but just simply understand that charting is going to make everything a lot more practical, and it's going to make it grounded, and it's going to make it very useful to your individual body, right? So what I find is that when I chart, I can actually pinpoint what is it that's throwing off my cycle. What about my days? What about the food consumption? What about the stress levels, the external, the internal, all of these things. So the more aware I am, the more I can take better care of myself. And that's really the driving force behind creating a charting practice, is to really get to know yourself. To know thyself is your true wisdom, it's your true power, and yet it's so hard to know ourselves these days because our lives are so constantly bombarded with so much information, and they're just so on the go, right? So what happens when our bodies are not connected to us, right? Because our body is quite literally a separate consciousness, right? My body is not Celeste. Celeste is not my body. So I need to understand that there needs to be a relationship that is created between the body that I live in and Celeste, my essence, who I quote unquote call myself to be. So charting is going to help you figure out what's going on in your body. And one of the biggest things that is going on right now, like I mentioned before, is our cycles are being thrown off. So whether it's being thrown off or not, one of the big things that charting has taught me is that when you are in a specific inner season of your cycle, but you don't feel like you're in that inner season, charting can show you and teach you where and what has gone wrong. So let me be specific. The inner season, let's say you are in summer, you are in peak ovulation time, right? So you know this because you're charting, right? Not because you're using a technological app that is not taking into consideration your temperature, your cervical mucus, all of these important things that we know we need to actually tell us ovulation is happening. So you're charting and it's like, oh, I'm ovulating. Okay, but I don't feel like I'm ovulating, right? And this is how you know if you've created body awareness or not. If ovulation doesn't mean anything to you, then you're listening to the right thing, because you need to understand how your body quote unquote should be. And now there's really no shoulds, right? It's not wrong to not feel like what ovulation and summer is put as in a box, right? But it is a guide to understand if there's something off or not in your body. So in ovulation or summertime, you should be very energized. You should have a lot of willpower and drive to get things done, to be out in the world. You're very inspired. You're creating a lot. All of that should be happening during your ovulation time. Now, when that doesn't happen in ovulation, it's the perfect time to look back at your charting practice and say, what has happened in the past 2 weeks that has thrown me off? Right? And so that's why charting is so beautiful, because you are taking notes on what exactly is happening in your body, in your day-to-day life. And this is going to increase your body awareness, because now you're starting to realize, oh, that thing that happened to me a week ago caused a tremendous amount of emotional stress or physical stress to my body. And here I am a week later in ovulation, and I feel burnt out. I don't feel like there's a lot of flow in my life. I feel like I'm pushing against the wind or the river. And this is how you build higher body awareness, specifically around the cycle of your womb. So charting can be really powerful to show you what is happening, and not only that, but actually give you a very specific insight as to your hormones. So if I'm in ovulation and I'm low energy and I feel like I'm pushing and I'm drained, I'm exhausted, or I'm just simply not inspired or creative, or I don't have the energy to show up, to get ready in the morning, to work out, to do those heavier kind of workouts that I like to do, then something is off hormonally, right? So I would be looking back into my chart and figuring out what has happened or what is happening in my temperatures that show me that my hormones are out of balance. So basically, practicing charting can really help you with body awareness. It increases your well-being by far, because you literally get to know thyself. You get to know what works and you get to know what doesn't work. So if you really want to start charting and you want to know what it's all about, I've created the free 4-day Align with Your Womb Wellness course, Womb Wisdom course. So check out the link below and sign up, and you can download the chart right away. I explain to you how to use it and what to look for, and this will open you up to creating more body awareness and increasing your wellness around your womb. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Mwah.